Hey, how's it going? Dylan here. Today we are taking a look at the much anticipated Suspiria. I was lucky enough to be invited to an early screening of Suspiria by Transmission Films. Thank you very much for inviting me, to all the people over there. Always a pleasure dealing with all of you. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to expect, but my hype level was through the absolute roof for this. Boy, what a unique piece of cinema this was. I'm obviously a fan of the original Suspiria. I only saw it earlier last year when Umbrella sent me a Blu-ray over for it for review, and I really enjoyed it. It was very interesting, stark visuals. This new one, obviously directed by Luca, director of Call Me By Your Name, so that had me intrigued, quite intrigued, and all of the PR and promotion of this film has been exceptional. Whoever runs the Twitter account, if you've been on Twitter around them, is fantastic. Some really fun stuff there. I was very ready to go see this and liked the hell out of it. And I was actually quite surprised when I got there and watched the film. Was kind of not exactly what I was expecting. Even from the trailers, it was less horror, more insanity, I guess you could say. The film itself, obviously, the visuals are in stark contrast to the original, which was the last film shot and processed on 3-strip Technicolor, so it has a very interesting look and very vivid, vibrant primary colors. This version is very drab and brown grays and brown grays all over the place, set in Berlin during the Cold War. That contrast, that looks quite nice. I think it suited this film very well. The film itself obviously starts off following kind of the similar trajectory as the original. And obviously we have our main character played by Dakota Johnson very well, going to this dance school and wanting to auditioning and wanting to become a part of this prestigious dance school. From there it kind of diverges. Each of they're split up, I think, into a bunch of acts. But in terms of I'll split it into three thirds of the film, just to make it a bit easier. There's a main kind of sequence, I guess you could say, in each of the acts. Obviously, in the first act, it is the sequence that is widely talked about and was shown at CinemaCon earlier in the year. The moment I realized that this scene or sequence was coming up, it was a great thrill and a burst of adrenaline. I was like, oh, this is it. This is going to be the scene. And to my delight, it was. It was very, very well done. And this, Suspiria 2018 is gory. It is body horror in those 3 sequences. Outside of those 3 sequences, though, there's not that much. And I think a lot of people were probably expecting it to be kind of in your face the whole time. That's one of the things I really like about this film, is that it kind of keeps that stuff contained to these 3 separate kind of crescendos of the 3/3 to the film, where everything builds and builds and builds to this massive release of horror and gruesomeness. That first one, the one that's shown at CinemaCon, was hard to watch, I will admit, and a few people in my cinema were gasping a bit. The second act one, which is, I guess, the dance performance that they've kind of shown a bit of, was fantastically done, and this score to this film is just so stellar. It's very minimalistic, doesn't really intrude much, but for instance, when we get into this dance scene, it really kind of hits a all-time high and really kind of completes the picture. The third act is the one that's the most absolutely bonkers, and a lot of people are describing it this way. It is literally bonkers. There is a twist, or a couple of twists, I guess you could say. Just goes all out. I am supremely surprised that Amazon let Luca make this film as it is. I'm surprised an executive sat there and looked at the film and said, yes, we will release this in cinemas, wide even, for instance. It's a testament to Amazon for letting this through and letting it be made with minimal interference, because the third act especially is just insane. It is very indie-like, complete opposite of mainstream cinema you could possibly get. A lot of people really won't like this film, and I feel like the expectations kind of hampered it a bit for some people. But for me, it was one of those films where straight after I was like thinking, what did I even just watch? I don't know if I like it, don't know if I hate it. All I know is, what in the world was that? And after sleeping on it for about a week, I guess, or even 2 weeks by now soon, I do enjoy this film, and I think it is a really cool film that you have to be really open to appreciate. But there's some really cool stuff in here. There's lots of kind of old school filmmaking and out there filmmaking, really weird camera angles, camera moves, some really stellar sequences and shots, really high technical mastery of the craft here. I'd highly recommend to go to see Suspiria as soon as possible in a cinema, because it is a stellar film. I really loved it. Hope you enjoyed the review. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, hit that bell button to be notified of new uploads as they become available. Till next time, take very good care.